Hi guys, and welcome to a new Funky Vinyl Finds video. Are you ready for some funk? We start off with a classic from 1973. I don't think this artist needs any introduction. It is of course Roy Ayers with Virgo Red. In 1973 he released his second album and it is a classic one. And like many, I think I started the wrong way around. So I started with, of course, the late 70s period of Roy Ayers with Everybody Likes the Sunshine, Mystic Voyage, and then you discover there's a whole new albums released much earlier, early 70s. And the way you dig into his collection, you find out I love that even more, because it is a little bit rawer, it's less polished, and especially this one, Virgo Red. And I think it is because Harry Whittaker, he's shown on the backside, plays the Rhodes, and you get that introduction and that combination of the Rhodes with the vibes of Roy Ayers, and that creates a special sound because it is almost like bare bone funk music. There's not much extra, it is just stripped down to the basics, and that gives the funky groove. And I think together Roy Ayers and Harry Whittaker, they got the best out of themselves when they played together. And the next sample I want to needle drop is maybe the best song on the album. It's the title track, Virgo Red.
From a star above.
For the next album we move to France. Released in 1976 on the Disc Festival label, you have an album that I've been looking for a long time, so I was of course very happy when I finally found it. Once you see the front cover, you will remember it forever, and when you find it, you will pick it up immediately or check it out immediately. It's François Niombo with I'm Cool. It is a very cool funky album. When you listen to the music, something doesn't add up. You hear that raw funk, there's some Rhodes in there, there is American rock, but also that early 70s funk. It is very difficult to pinpoint. And when you look on the back cover, it has a little bit of a story about François. He's from Zaire, Africa. He left there when he was 15, moved to France. But the band is much too tight. This is really a funk band or a rock band that has been playing for a long time together. So what is it? Who is playing? Who is backing him up? And there's only a small hint on the back side. It is produced by Frank Abel. And those who know, Frank Abel was also the producer and the player of the Rhodes piano of the Lafayette Afro Rock Band. And that's the connection. Then everything is clear. That is why this album sounds so cool and funky. It's the backing band Lafayette Afro Rock Band who really shines. Together, I must say, they bring out the best of both, because François, his guitar playing, it really adds up. There is no vocals, it's all instrumental, and it is so good. It is a wonderful album. The next track I want to sample is I'm Cool, the title track, which is on the other side. And for the next album, we move to the West Indies, the French-speaking part of the West Indies, Dominica. Released in 1975 on the Disc Depths label, is the music by Milestone. And the album, it just looks like an African album, but the good part is West Indies albums are usually pressed in France or also pressed in France. so the quality is much higher, they're a little bit easier to find and a little bit cheaper. And what you're getting is some Caribbean organ mixed with some funky guitar, and that results in island funk. And island funk has something magical in the sense that it wants to make you move. I don't know that much about the group Milestone. What I could find about the label, This Debs, is that it is founded by Henry Debs, and he played an important role in this area to promote the music. Next track I want to sample, want to needle drop, is Caroline, one of my favorite songs on this album.
Caroline, fais-moi la chocotte de feu. Caroline, avais-tu very mal l'hiver? Caroline, passer sa chasse pour faire pleurer. Caroline, allez crier les pompiers, messieurs. Caroline, fais-moi la chocotte de chaud.
And for the next album, we only have to move a little bit to the north, to the US. An album released in 1973 on the Buddha label. It's a soundtrack to a blaxploitation movie. You guessed it, of course, already. Superfly TNT. And the first question that comes to mind, is this album really as bad as many people say? Because you're getting no Curtis Mayfield. This is Osibisa. And Osibisa is started by Teddy Osai. He's from Ghana. So you have much more the same vibe as the previous album. The island funk with Caribbean organ, some funky guitar, and that really, it puts you in a different vibe. And it is, in that sense, I like the album because it has that same positive, happy music. And that's a little bit difficult, of course, to correlate with the toughness of a blaxploitation movie where you expect a little bit more of a rawness. But altogether, it's a very fun album. And for the next album, we're staying in the US. Released in 1972 on Today's Records label. We're getting some organ-fueled funk, a very funky record. It's by Julius Brockington, Sophisticated Funk. And the music are partly covers, partly his own compositions. The covers are wild, they are by Al Green, Stevie Wonder. And can you recognize this one? It's by Aretha Franklin, Rocksteady. He really gives a twist to the music. He really makes it his own and makes it even more funky, and that is of course by the raw sound of the organ. Maybe a fun fact to know, the album is co-produced by the label owner of Today's Records, and Today's Records at that time was owned by Patrick Adams, the Disco King. Next song I want to sample and needle drop is Cold Water, one of his own compositions.